You say it again.
And we'll probably need to edit the intros and stuff out.
Yeah, because it started recording from the word go.
Okay, all right. So everybody who's joined, please be aware that this is being recorded. If you do not wish to show your camera or your video or your background, you can add a virtual background by going into settings or more, as illustrated by Andrew. And I'm sure Andrew will be happy to help explain how to do that in the chat. And you can also just listen in audio mode, and you just click on the video to stop video. You're also able to rename your name that appears. So if you click on your name as participant, and there will be a setting for rename.
Possibly, I might have disabled it.
No, it's there.
Is it?
Yeah. So if there's any other queries about it being videoed, we obviously will edit it before it goes out, and we may just use an audio stream, then please contact one of the organisers. So Herb, Drew, Scott or myself.
If you could raise your hand if you have a question, that'd be awesome.
And Scott will answer all questions.
Yeah. Might not like the answer.
Renamed myself.
Who was that renaming themselves?
Me, it was me. It's me.
Oh, okay.
And I was somebody else earlier.
Oh, right, Terry.
Yeah.
And
Paul has sent a message on Slack saying things aren't going well here. Meetup and Slack stop giving me notifications, but more importantly, somebody seems to have nicked my broadband, and my server is making a strange grinding noise. Hopefully, I've got a spare, found the right type. Wish me luck. And that was at 2 minutes to 7.
Okay, I didn't catch who that was.
Paul Tansom, who was supposed to be giving the first lightning talk.
Ah, okay.
All right. On the other subject,
have we got James?
James, I haven't had a reply from him at all, and I thought I'd go and send him a message via his website contact form, which doesn't exist. And if Steve walks around the corner, he might be able to go and find him. Otherwise, that's it. I can't contact him, I don't think. So what we do have is Steve Wood is going to talk about Wordfence, which was on the list of requests anyway. I'm going to talk about my favorite plugin, which is a trace plugin, what I done wrote. And Bernard, who hasn't joined yet, said he can talk about Query Monitor, which is also a plugin for looking at how your website is performing. And it does very similar stuff.
That sounds excellent.
What were the names of those two, Herb?
Query Monitor.
What monitor?
Query.
Query. And what was the other one?
Mine has got a beautiful name. It's like VW Trace. And if you look in your chat, you'll see it there.
Okay.
Drew's come in. How did he manage to get in? Did you let him in, Abba?
I did, yeah.
Ah.
Hello. How's everybody?
Sneaky.
Mm.
Abba, I've had a reply from Leo.
Right.
He says, oh, I've still got the picture open. Hang on. In slideshow, set as browsed by an individual window. And he sent me a screenshot.
Okay. Can you send that on to me? And
yeah,
it also seems to be, you click on use presenter view under slideshow settings for an earlier version of Microsoft Office. So we can put all that together. But it's good that he replied so quick and you're able to contact him. It's so cool.
Well, I was actually surprised that he's online, because normally when I try getting hold of him, he's not there. So. Right, so share message.
Pictures that show you about 12 or 14 people. Hmm. Yeah, that's because this is. What the? That one? That's actually quite big, isn't it? I can go full size. Gosh, I'm going to read. Oh, you are. But it's taking ages. What? We're waiting for people to join. We've given them 10 minutes. Have I said give them 10 minutes?
Did I? Okay.
You said 20 minutes was too much last month, so
Oh, sorry, I did. Yeah.
Why can't I see Heather?
Because I'm just responding to WordPress Madrid. So, and I'll be back in a sec.
That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
yeah, what?
We have various meetups tonight in different places. So we've got Nigeria, Cheltenham, Madrid, the US, and here.
You must have a camera, mustn't you?
So at the moment, I'm just doing the online bit to them and then coming back to yourselves.
I see. But you could still have your camera.
You had to organise. That's fair enough.
Yeah, but my camera's, Andrew, my camera's on the Madrid spot at the moment. That's why.
Why isn't it on you? My camera's on me. Herb's is on Herb.
Yeah, but it's broadcasting to Madrid.
Broadcasting what to Madrid?
A Zoom chat.
At the moment, I think might be broadcasting this, but I'm not sure.
What makes two of us?
Still not sure where I'm getting the pizza.
In a sec, don't worry. I don't want to miss the pizza. You definitely said pizza.
Pizza? So I get pizza.
Trying to see if I can find Bernard. So, right, okay.
Is he on the Madrid?
Oh, we've got fireworks now.
Mhm.
Okay, so what time do you want to start?
Now,
Okay.
although, I've got a message from Nicola. Hold on.
The option record to cloud. Do we want to do that?
No, it's recording to my local disk drive.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know why it's coming out with that one. Right,
Right.
get going.
Anyone be able to get on to Meetup and talk to Nicola and tell her what the right link is?
Yeah, I'll do that if you want.
Because the first time it sent out registering or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go on to Meetup now, let her know.
Should we get going then, Drew?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so welcome everybody to WordUp Pompey. We hope you had a good day and really glad that you can be with us tonight. We've got some really good lightning talks, all homegrown, on a plugin theme. And we're also hoping to be joined by Bernard, who is the lead organizer for WordCamp Europe 2020. And we hope he's going to talk us through one of his favorite plugins as well. The last thing we'll do today in our meetup is to look at the forthcoming WordCamp Europe Contributor Day. And if you've already not got a ticket and you want to come along, I think there's still some tickets available. They are free and you don't have to travel. So if you have never experienced a Contributor Day or want to do more contributing, join one of the teams. It's a great way to start. There's lots of help available with tips on how you can do that beforehand as well. And quite a few of us on the chat are involved with teams. So do come and find out a bit more. So shall I hand over to the wonderful Steve, who's going to be our first lightning talk tonight.
Oh, no, but talk about the sponsors.
Okay, I'll talk about the sponsors first. So we are very grateful for our sponsors. We have 2 sponsors for WordUp Pompey. We have venue sponsor Red IT, and as you all know, Scott McEwen is one of our organisers as well, and we're grateful for all he does to support us and the Make WordPress projects too. Our other sponsor is 34SP, and as we can't do pizza and refreshment at the moment, we'll be putting that money towards other things in our WordUp Pompey calendar. So hopefully we'll be able to offer some other things or get some tech if we have to keep doing these kind of events online. So both of our sponsors offer discounts, and you'll see them on screen. The discounts that you can do by just quoting that you're a WordUp Pompey person. So WP Pompey is the code that you need to use, and we're very grateful for them for all their ongoing help. I wait for Herb to change the screen. And we have our lightning talk. So we have future talks that are going to be on database backups and MySQL command line and Audacity. And our talks today are going to be on my favorite plugin, Wordfence by Steve Wood, my favorite plugin by our very own Herb Miller, and as we said earlier, about Contributor Day, and I'll just be talking through some of the things to try and help you get involved. So before we move on to anything else, Herb, do you want to go back to that next screen, or
This one? No, not that one. We'll do that as a wrap up. We've got
you want that one? Not sure if you wanted that. Okay. So I think we've got a couple of people who've joined who are going to join late from other parts of the globe, and we'll be welcoming them, including some people from Russia, from Germany, from the US, and from Madrid as soon as they finish their WordPress event tonight. So do help us encourage and give them a warm welcome. So Steve, are you ready to take the hot seat? Or would you like a piece of pizza, Andrew?
Do you have to unshare your screen first, Herb? Or...
I do indeed. Wish I knew how to do it. Stop share. That's the red button. Oh, the pizza. Hey.
So in your Zoom window,
All you have to do is click on share screen, and then you're in charge.
if in your Zoom windows, if you'd like to switch to the active speaker so you can concentrate on what Steve is saying, there is an option to do that. We've seemed to have got Andrew's screen.
Just explain that all you do is click on share screen down the bottom, and then you're in charge of it.
So thank you for doing that. Just a reminder that this session is being recorded. We'll probably edit some of the initial stuff out so that people don't feel that has to be on the video. And if anyone's got any concerns, please do stop your video so you can rename yourselves. And I'll hand over now to the wonderful Steve Wood, and he'll take you through his favorite plugin, Wordfence.
Well, we'll give it a try. This was rather rapidly produced today because I felt sorry for Herb. He didn't seem to have any contributors.
Can I just ask everybody who's not speaking to mute their mics just so that everybody else can hear clearly? That'd be great. Thank you.
Can everyone see my screen? Or can anyone see my screen?
Yes. It's all
Okay, so this is very hurriedly produced today, so bear with me. So just a bit of background really for
Why can't I
WordPress.
see your screen then?
Pardon?
Why can't I see your screen? Can everyone else see it?
It's very selective.
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
What have I done wrong then?
So if you go to either, did you click on active speaker or did you click on the window?
I haven't clicked on anything.
Okay, so what have you got in front of you, Andrew?
A lot. I can see Herb, me, Steve,
Okay.
Steve Wood, Paul,
So
Hayward, and Scott.
So Scott, do you think you could give Andrew a hand in the chat so that Steve can carry on talking while we get Andrew sorted?
Yeah, we'll do.
Thank you. Sorry, Steve, back over to you.
Okay, yes, so I thought I'd just sort of give you a bit of an overview of the current statistics of WordPress. Obviously, it's very popular. About 35% of all websites worldwide are using it. There's 400 million people visit WordPress sites each month. And there's about 661, where they get that figure from, I don't know, new sites pop up each day. So it's obviously very, very attractive. From a software security point of view, it's obviously a prime target for hackers. There's vulnerabilities can happen within core code of WordPress, which is very rare, or usually more likely in plugins. I read some figures recently. I think it said about 93% of all problems are actually occur in plugins. Hackers set up their bots. They're constantly trawling, looking for WordPress sites, and then they look to see what's installed in it, and then they look to see if there's any vulnerabilities they can actually have a go at. So one thing the hackers rely on, in many cases, owners of websites don't keep their software updated, so it gives them more chances of finding vulnerabilities. So it's very, very important to do that. Keep your software, your WordPress version, your themes, your plugins, all updated to the latest versions if you can. So how do we get around that? It's this wonderful plugin called Wordfence. It's apparently the most popular of the options that are out there. The other one you probably heard of is Securi. I know and love Wordfence. Since I've been using it, I've never had a site hacked. Some statistics I picked up today: the total attacks blocked for the last 30 days is over 5 billion. It's phenomenal. So you can see how popular it is. They reckon they've had about 150 million downloads of the plugin since they produced it. It's kept up to date very well. It works wonders. Really is good. So it works on print. There's two parts to it. The first part is a web application firewall. Basically, it's a software firewall that runs on the server. So it runs effectively at the end point. I'll cover that in the next slide, what that means. It doesn't break encryption, it can't be bypassed, and it doesn't leak data. There's also a malware scanner blocks attacks as well. This is the difference. There's two concepts. One is a cloud firewall, which you might have heard of, Cloudflare. The problem with that is, from the browser to the Cloudflare server, the data is encrypted if you use an HTTPS protocol. But from the Cloudflare server to your server, it's not encrypted anymore. So this is where people can get in and leak data. And you can also bypass the cloud if you're clever. With an endpoint firewall, the software runs on your own server. So it goes right the way through, encrypted, right the way from the visitor's browser, all the way through to your server itself. So you don't leak any data, can't be bypassed. Whether or not that's 100% true, I don't know. Scott?
Yes and no. Depends on the application layer, but yes.
Nothing's 100% secure, but all you can do is make it as difficult as possible. But that's the basic difference. I suppose the core of the Wordfence plugin is this threat defense feed. It's a massive, great database, which is updated. The more users it's got, the more feedback it's got coming back into the database, which is detecting and monitoring where the attacks are coming from. So it builds this database. If you're a premium version, it's downloaded on the fly dynamically. If you're using the free version, it's updated and downloaded to your system every 30 days. But I must admit, I've only ever used the free one, and it's always been more than adequate. So how it works very quickly is the Wordfence firewall there's two parts. You've got the main part, which is downloaded later, but any request to your site server goes through this Wordfence firewall, which then uses the database to work out whether it's an attack or not. If it's an attack, it will block it. If it's not an attack and it's legitimate, it will go through, load WordPress, load the full version of Wordfence, and then process it. So it's, as I say, it's very, very secure. It's very fast. I've never had any real obvious slowdown through using it. Second part, once the main part of software for Wordfence is loaded, there's real-time security scanning, and this is where it picks up, looks for malware, bad URLs, and all that lot in the list there, and it blocks those attacks. It would already have blocked those attacks anyway, but it also emails you with reports. But it will go through and it will tell you what plugins need updating, what themes need updating, if your WordPress needs updating. Checks all the files. It does comparisons between the core files.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Have you got the standard Wordfence or Wordfence Pro?
No, I'd say I only ever used the free one.
Right.
The premium one has some extra features in it, but I've never found a need for it, to be honest. I've forgotten where I was now. Yeah, it checks for weak passwords. Yeah, it does a comparison. That's where I was. It does a comparison with the core files, for example, against the ones on the main WordPress.org repository to see if anything's corrupted. And then it will let you inspect the changes, and it will also let you update that file with the original. So it's got lots of things in there. There's a couple of buttons in there I don't like. It says delete all error files, which is a bit dangerous. I would suggest you don't do that. Go through them one at a time. But much better idea if you get any. But other than that, it's very easy to use, very easy to set up, and it's worth its weight in gold. It's got some extra bits and pieces in, which I'm not going into. You can read these slides later. That's why they're a bit wordy. I've broken all the presentation rules, but at least you can read them. Yeah, another thing it offers as well, you can set up two-factor authentication, and if I remember rightly, Drew did a presentation on that a while back as well, so these slides are probably available still somewhere.
Yeah, let's dig them out actually, make sure they're up on the site.
So there it is, quick overview of Wordfence plugin. I recommend all sites you build for WordPress, you use it. It's free to use. Worth its weight in gold.
Thank you, Steve. Are you happy to take some questions?
Yeah, if anyone's got any.
Okay. If anyone has a question, I don't know if Scott, that was you wanting a question because you popped up there.
Yeah, I didn't do anything. I'm on this screen. I think my other computer's just died.
Do you know any good IT guys?
It just so happens I've got a spare Dell box next door, so I might have to run out and get that.
You get your assistant to fix it for you.
Yeah. Well, somebody was slapping my mouse on the floor, weren't you? Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, everyone.
Any questions?
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay, Steve, would you like to ask Steve a question?
Yeah, some of the features there, could that not be in conflict with some of the plugins that are out there? I've been looking for basically a page hit counter plugin that works, and I've tried a number and failed. And one says you've got to add some code to one of the PHP files, where if you're comparing against what the WordPress master PHP files are supplied as, that's going to be pulled up by this plugin.
Yes, it would. I mean, you've got the option to ignore it. So if you know it's something you've changed yourself, you can leave it. You can choose to just ignore it. It's just a click a button, basically.
And it's quite good, isn't it, Steve? Because you can ignore until it changes again, which then at least gives you the chance to recheck the file, or you can ignore ad infinitum, basically. So it's quite well thought through.
Yeah, that's a good point, Drew. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if anyone knows of any page hit counters that don't fall foul of this, I will be very appreciative to know.
So you use Google Analytics?
Sorry?
Do you use Google Analytics?
I won't touch Google with a barge pole, sorry. my site is all of Google is disabled at its firewall.
That must be very difficult.
No, it's not at all. I don't use Google. I don't trust Google. I have to unblock google.com for blooming captures to say I'm not a robot on some sites, but I block straight away afterwards. But otherwise, I avoid Google like the plague. Sorry.
It's another analytics package I used a long time ago. I haven't seen it for a while. Stat Counter.
Yeah, I've tried that, and the database update that it's supposed to do didn't work.
Yeah, I haven't used it for years. I did use it many moons ago.
Yeah. So I've tried a number, but I've given up for the time being.
The file that it wants you to amend, Steve, what file was that? In the theme folder or in the core?
That's the problem. It says apply this to your file, but it doesn't say which file. It's a modification you have to make. So at that point, I just gave up and deleted it.
What's the plugin called?
Without going into the looking at my server directories, I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
Right.
Yeah, if it's in the theme, I mean, you can edit it and change it in the child theme, so it wouldn't be a problem. But I wouldn't go around, ideally, not editing WordPress core file.
No, I was very reluctant to even try.
But child themes would definitely, if it's a file in the theme, you can normally get around that by having a child theme. So because that's not in the WordPress repository, Wordfence won't flag it as a problem. But anytime the theme gets updated, you won't have to go back and redo your edit either. So it was one thing to look at.
Okay, thanks.
Any more questions?
Yeah, do you have your emails turned on or off from Wordfence?
Sorry?
With your Wordfence configuration, do you have it sending emails to you every day, or do you just mute those? And do you?
I have mine weekly.
I must admit, I've got probably about 50 or 60 sites that send me updates. It gets a bit overpowering at times.
Steve?
Yeah?
Looked into that, because don't they do like a central Wordfence module now?
There is, yeah. I've not used it. I tend to prefer to keep them all separate.
Yeah, I've not looked at it myself, so...
No, I've seen it. It's like a central control panel, which you can monitor all of them in one control admin panel, basically.
Yeah. I might have a look one day.
Yeah, I'm just wary of things like that, because if you make a mistake on one, you end up just deleting it from every site.
Yeah, yeah.
Damage limitation.
You quite. It depends on how it links the issues together.
Yeah. No, I must look at it one day, but I haven't so far.
And you said it updates the metadata every 30 days?
Yeah. Yeah, it does it automatically, and it'll even, it's an option, Wordfence plugin will update itself as well automatically. But basically, every time it connects to the server, it will update.
I couldn't remember what I couldn't remember what the meta update cycle was.
It's 30 days for the free one. It's on the fly if it's the pro one.
Yeah, because the scanning you can set to whatever you like, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just the signatures it scans for could be up to 30 days out of date, depending on when the update was last done. The one thing I will say for Wordfence, though, there was a really big 0-day exploit some point in 2009. I'd love to try and find the blog post again. But I seem to remember they pushed that out to every site's metadata, even if you weren't on the 7-day premium plan, because it was such a well-known exploit. So the fact that they were prepared to do that, I think, does say something about the company.
Yeah, I think they've got a very good reputation. I've never really heard anything bad said against them, and if there is any problems, they seem to fix them very quickly.
Yeah.
So Herb's just shared that they have had 150 million downloads and they update it regularly. And obviously when you're choosing plugins from the WordPress plugin list, it is always worth checking how often it's updated and reading some of the reviews, and also whether it's been used in your area, your WordPress version. Some plugins, as Steve just kindly shown the right screen for me, it also tells you what PHP version it will support. And I'm sure that Scott would love to come in just now and just explain why it's important to update your PHP.
Sorry, excuse me.
I stop sharing this now.
Thank you for that.
Sorry, hang on. You all right?
Well, while Scott's sorting that out, just a welcome to Julia, who's joined us.
The mini server.
And Steve also joined. Hi, Julia. And just so the people who've joined know that currently this is being recorded to Herb's computer. If you don't wish for it to be including yourself, you cannot listen in listen-only mode, which means stop your video. But we will be looking at how much of this, and it may be that we edit the audio and use that. So I'm aware not everybody's comfortable with it being recorded, so we can discuss that after this. Scott, are you ready?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So Scott's just going to recap about PHP.
Yeah, so the main reason to obviously check the current version of PHP you're using is we're now on 7.4 is the current stable release. So if you're using something that is using a 5 or even a 7.0 version of PHP, one, it's possibly not maintained anymore, which means there's security holes in it. Sorry. But the speed improvement between a version 5 and a version 7 is a massive leap forward in the security, in the improvement of the actual processing of the language in itself. So I would always recommend at least version 7, but there's talk in the hosting group at the moment to step up to a minimum requirement of 7.2 on the next major release as well. And for those of you that really like PHP, there's rumours of PHP 8 on the horizon, so watch the space.
So if anyone's not sure about how to check those things, please do get in touch with one of us, either in the Slack channel, and we'll be pleased to help. But also the site health check on WordPress websites does help you guide through that as well. Not all hosts support lower versions of PHP, so it is worth also checking that. So
some
thank you.
Also charge you extra as well for supporting older versions.
Really?
It's actually something else Wordfence allows you. It's got sort of tools in there, and it'll actually show you what version of PHP you're using.
So another good reason to give that a go. Just so that we're being fair to all the WordPress plugins, there are many other security plugins as well, and if it's one that you use that you particularly think you'd like to share at a future talk, or if you'd like to talk to Steve further about Wordfence and some of the settings in the version that he uses, I'm sure he'll be happy to help. While we've been talking, we've been joined by Bernard. So welcome, Bernard.
Hello.
And
From Berlin.
Bernard is joining us